Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy Estes, and I'm here with Jeremy Nickel. We are the two Jeremys
Hey everyone.
with, with bucket.io. And on this call, we're going to take a look at getting started with Bucket. We're going to just take a short hour here. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. Um, so if you're just looking to getting started with Bucket and using it correctly, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. If you stick around to the end, what we're going to do is take um, appointments for doing a one-on-one call with a Bucket specialist if you need it. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how to set things up inside of the bucket.io app. But after we get through with it, if there's still any questions you have lingering, um, if you just want someone to look at the setup that you've already started working on, we're going to give you an opportunity to jump on our calendar and get a short 15-minute call where we'll do either a screen watch with you or just a regular phone call and make sure we get you over any hurdle that might be holding you up to this point. Later this afternoon, if you didn't see it before, we do have a more advanced training on integrating bucket.io with your email marketing service provider through Zapier. So if you, at the end of this call, if you're like, okay, I get it, but I still want some more advanced training on actually setting up my email service provider with Bucket, we'll be doing another deep dive into that later this afternoon. So moving forward, the main objective for this call, like I said earlier, is to show you how to build a discovery survey. If you haven't done that already, we're going to walk you through all the steps for actually building the survey from ground up. I'm going to show you some reporting, some of the cool features that we have for making the decisions once you have some responses from your users. And then I'm going to show you how to launch a segmentation funnel, how to build it from scratch, how to set the configurations so you get the absolute highest conversions possible. And yeah, so by the time we get done with this call, you'll know how to do both of those things. So let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to look at is building a discovery survey. Another quick thing too, what you can do on this call, if you have questions, Mr. Nickel will be fielding those, so just feel free to type them into the chat. Jeremy, if something starts building up on something I'm talking about, if you don't mind just jumping in and saying, hey, got a lot of questions on this one topic, I'll be happy to stop. Otherwise, we will do a Q&A at the end. So I'm going to go ahead. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to walk through every piece of building a discovery survey. So feel free to put those questions in, and either we'll answer them at the end of the call, or we'll, if I'm moving too quickly, Jeremy's going to stop me, and we'll get those answered as we go. All right. So a couple of quick points before you start building your survey, and the way that the survey and the segmentation funnels are built, we have a build path. And the way that it works out, the workflow is set up for these is you build, you add your design tweaks, excuse me, you set some final configurations, and then you publish. So that's how it works when setting up any kind of survey or segmentation funnel inside of Bucket. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by those right now. So I'm going to jump over to bucket.io real quick, and we're going to start with a discover funnel. So what you're going to do, you've got a couple of options here. If it's your very first build ever, you can just click here, create a new discovery. If you have some built already and you just want to edit it and kind of go through, which I'm going to do here, you can click on the Discover menu at the top, and that'll bring you to all your existing Discover funnels, or surveys, I'm sorry. I've got this test full pager. because there's two types of, let me actually just click this create discovery here real quick. There's two types of surveys you can set up. There's the full page and then there's the button. We're going to be walking through the full page because it's the most common type that we use. You're going to use the full page most of the time if you're sending traffic straight to the survey. The times where you would want to use the button is, let's say you have a high traffic web page on your site where you know people are going to hit and you want to be able to ask those people a question. You're not going to want to create a whole new page and try to drive traffic to that. With a button, you can add the button directly to that high traffic page and just have the people that are hitting that page click the button and complete your survey. But if you're sending emails or if you're sending, creating a whole new page where you want people just to go and take your survey, you'll create the full pager. And again, that's what we're going to be doing on this call here. So I'm going to back out of here, hit close, and I'm going to just jump into one that I've already pre-built, so we're not sitting here, having me build it as we're sitting here waiting. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to click Edit, and what I'm going to do here is I want to show you kind of some of the options that are available for you as you start building your own surveys. So we have here the first option is the welcome page. A lot of people skip putting a welcome page onto their survey because they just want to send people straight to the first question, which is, it's a great practice, right? Just get them straight to the question. So if you send out an email or send somebody maybe a Facebook message, or you put a Facebook message up, or any kind of messaging where you tell them that there's going to be a survey at the other end of the link click, then it's okay to go ahead and jump straight to a question. But let's say you're not as familiar with the people who are coming to your page, to the survey. You want to kind of tee them up for the survey that's coming. Maybe offer them an ethical bribe, if you will, like a download or access to something, or just some kind of freebie. Well, the welcome page is where you would go and set that up. And the way that you would do that is you just drag this welcome page over to the box over here, and inside this screen you have the option of editing this page. It's just a regular landing page, so you can control the headline. Here's what you'll get for taking my survey. And then, again, just make your basic edits here. You can add images. You can add video. You can have nothing, really. I mean, if you want to just have no image or video, you just want to get straight to the point. You can edit any copy on this page, or you can remove the elements altogether. So if you just wanted a quick, hey guys, this is what's happening when you take it, and then have the button that says, that starts them on their survey, you can do that right here. And this is where, again, this is if you decide you're going to use a welcome page, you have complete control over the customization of all these major elements: headline, subheadline, image, body text, button, and even the sub-body text if you wanted to throw like a privacy policy or statement underneath it. You'll click Save, and then that'll save it. Remember, anytime you leave out of one of these pages, you always want to click Save Changes. So that's if you're going to use the welcome page. Again, most people that are sending visitors to a survey will have already told the visitors that they're going to a survey. So a lot of times you don't even need that welcome page, but it is there if you do want to send traffic to a landing page first. I'm going to go ahead and delete it for this one just so we can get straight into the questions, because I want you to see what's available to you as far as options for your survey itself. So let's jump right into our questions. This is the most important part of a survey, right? Is the questions and what you ask. So you have the ability for when you create a survey to ask short text questions, which is just a one-liner, like what city are you from, or what's your name, or things like that. That's what would be a short text option. Long text are the more open-ended questions. So if you're going to ask a really insightful question, then you would use a long text. Radio buttons are you can only choose one of the options, and checkboxes you can choose multiple choice. And I'll show you what these look like here. So for this Q1, the question name is, what is your biggest challenge? That's an open-ended question. That's a long text choice here. And as you can see, there is a choose the box height. And in here you can have a 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, or 4 rows. Basically what that does, that just shows them how big the box is on the screen. So in this case, I would choose 4 rows, giving the user the biggest amount of space to work with when they're typing in their response to what is your biggest challenge. You can make this question required, and anytime you use a long text box, you would get this option here, the single most important question. Now, if you check this box, what the system will do in the reporting section is that will be the question that it uses to analyze the responses for this question. So if you've marked this as the single most important question, later on when the system is doing its reporting for you and determining who your best responders are, this will be the question that it takes most into consideration for you. So what you'll do is once you choose and set your first question up, you'll choose Save. And let's take a look at some of these other options. So we've got the multiple choice here, but in this case we're using the radio option. And the radio option, again, like I said before, it gives you a choice you can add as many choices as you want, but the user can only select one option. You can make this a required question, and you can also add an other option to the end of it. And so if they choose other, it'll give them a box to complete. But again, the other is optional. You don't have to have that in there. I'm going to save the changes on that. And then we're going to take a look at this other multiple choice option. So this is using the checkbox element. With the checkbox, you can choose you can add as many options as you want, but in this case, the user can click all of them. And then again, you can make it required, and the same as with the other option, you can add an other with it. So when they check that box, they can add their own answer in there as well, which can be used again later on for your own insights. So we'll save that. And then finally, the last part, or I'm sorry, not the last part. Then you've got your contact information page, and this is where you're going to take whoever's taking your survey. This is where you're going to take their contact information so that you can follow up with them at a later time. Again, just like the welcome page, you have total control over what they see here. You can change the headline. You can change the subhead. You can also add an image or a video on this page as well to encourage them to complete the contact information stage here. There's also a little section here, and I like to point this out. So you can add a phone number here, right? But then a lot of times for surveys, people may be reluctant to give their phone number, right? They just answer your questions. Why would I give you their phone number? And so what you've got here is the ability to explain to them why you're asking for their phone number. Which you'll see a lot of times if you fill this in and give them a good reason for filling out the phone number and letting them know, hey, maybe I do want to contact you about completing this the survey, you'll see that number field start to get filled in more frequently. So that's why we've got this option in here. And then you've got other box here where you can change this to just about anything you want. So if you wanted to put maybe like what state they're from, or anything else pertinent. Or again, you can just use the green sliders to turn any of these options off. Save your page. And then again, now we're finally at the last step of setting up your survey, or at least building the way that it looks. And that is on the thank you page. If you don't put a thank you page on, it just goes to a default, it just like a green check mark, thank you for completing the survey kind of default screen. But you can customize what message you have for them after they take your survey. And you have the option of sending them off to maybe a blog post or another, maybe your social media, visit us on Facebook. Maybe if you wanted to send them off to your Facebook profile or to a group or your Twitter page, anything you want to do on this page, you have total control over it. Or if you don't want to send them anywhere, you can just turn that off. Again, use the thank you page if you have a custom message for them after they take it. If you really don't have much of a message, if you just want to tell them just a basic thank you, you can leave off the thank you page, and it'll take them to just a default thank you message. And that's it. Once you set this up, you've got your survey is ready to send to your audience. And you can do a quick preview here just to see how it looks. So you've got, what is your biggest challenge? Put the answer in here. You've got your multiple choices. Again, this is the yes or no. You can only choose one. Now you've got your multiple choice where you can choose as many as you want. And then you've got your contact page. And then once they fill out this contact information, they'll be taken to your thank you page. And then bucket.io will store your answers and help score them, and I'll show you some reporting stuff shortly. But I'm going to close this out real quick. And just to take you notice the background on that page was orange. I'm going to show you why. If the next step after you create the build, you can jump over to design and add some tweaks. So if you have a logo you want to add, you can jump over here and choose a logo from your desktop. We've got the recommended image size and the maximum file size. You could also add header text. So if you wanted to put a phone number or some other persuasive messaging that would stay on the top of your survey, you've got access to that as well. I think it jumped all the way back out. I did. So that's another thing to look for too. So when you're in design and you jump into one of these, like say we were just in a header, and I clicked to go back to all my discovery surveys, what I really wanted to do was click back to go to the other options. You have access to footer navigation, text. Again, you have the option of turning the bucket branding logo off at this point. I think in the future there will be a phase where maybe like an option where you can't do that, but you can certainly turn off the branding, the bucket logo at the bottom of your survey. Again, the reason this background is orange is because you have the option of changing the color of your entire survey and choosing the background image color of the different pages, which is what we did here. To change just the color, you would just come over here and click background and then choose the color you want. You can also have an image on the background of your survey. I'm going to do just a quick look at the configuration part. Once you've kind of done your design tweaks and you jump over to configure, you've got the ability to change kind of the metadata on it. And this is going to change. This will change what you see up in the top of the screen, and also when you share it. So if you were to share it on Facebook, you wouldn't want it to say Untitled. You'd want to say something to the effect of, something more in line of what they're doing, right? You probably wouldn't put "take my survey," but you get what I'm saying here. Like this is where you would make those edits. You can add a description to explain what they're going to see once you get on the page. This is also where you would integrate with your email service provider. So if you want to put the information that you're gathering in your survey, if you want to send that directly to, I don't know, Infusionsoft or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, whatever your email marketing provider is, this is where you would set that up. I told you earlier we're going to take a more in-depth look at that later this afternoon, but it's real simple. You just click integrate and then walk through the steps of adding your email service provider and connecting it to Bucket using Zapier. You can also integrate your Facebook pixel if you wanted to retarget the people who take your survey as they go through and answer the questions. And this is where you would do that. Again, that's a more advanced feature, and we'll talk about that. And we have advanced training for that. And then again, we also have help for any of those, any of these more advanced features inside our knowledge base. And then finally, when you're ready to go, oh, you know what? I'm going to cancel and hit Save Changes. Anytime you attempt to leave a page without saving, it will warn you, hey, are you sure you want to leave this page without making the changes? And so you definitely want to make sure you're saving your changes. The last step is just to hit Publish. Again, you have another chance here to choose the type of funnel that you want, or the survey that you want to put up. And then you'll choose your domain. This is going to be on Bucket Surveys, and you'll just click Publish the Survey, and then you'll get your link for the survey. And this is where you will be. This is the link you'll be sending people to. You'll just copy that and then paste it wherever, and that's it. That is how you set up a discovery survey inside of bucket.io. So that took us about 20 minutes to walk through. Jeremy, did we have a bunch of questions on setting up discovery surveys before I move on to segmentation?
Jeremy, we have about 35 questions. Seriously. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's only a few questions here. One, and this is a really good question. If you could go over to the discovery survey and just show on the thank you page where to input the URL for where you want them to be redirected to their own landing page.
Sure.
That'd be the first, and then there's only one more after that.
Okay, man, I thought you were serious about the 30 questions. I was like,
no, just wanted to freak you out a little bit.
You did. Well played. All right, so we're going to go. Okay, so this is back in the build section. We're on the thank you page. And I turned off the button before, but what I did here, so let's say I put visit us on Facebook. Underneath that where it says button URL, this is where I would put facebook.com/bucket.io, right? And that would take you to the Facebook page. I'm not sure that's like 100%. Oh, you probably want to put the HTTP in front of it. But yeah, that's where you would put your URL on the thank you page. You've got button, and then you've got the button text. Tell them what you want them to go see, and then you can put the URL to anywhere you'd like right here, and it'll send them directly to it. Make sure
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what was needed. And and I don't believe we have anything like this. This is something for us to think about. When you were talking about swipe copy, used for, we want to know if we can have any swipe copy used for reference that can be used to, write specific, used for ideas to write specific questions, headlines, etc.
Yeah, we actually do.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So let me jump back out here. So when you want to go create a new survey, if you click here where it says create discovery survey, each one has an example. So you can go here and view an example of a full pager, right? And this will bring up, as you can see, go.bucketforms. So it's an actual live example. If it pulls up, which I think it will, okay. and you start the survey. And tell us about your experience in order to improve our services. Again, you can see there's a little bit of swipe copy here, right? So you start the survey. You can see, and this is something I didn't even bring up, but you can actually use images for your answers or your questions as well. So for each option, you can add an image to that,
Which is awesome.
which
Yeah,
is
that's really good, man.
so again, as you can see, just a bunch of little swipe copy ideas that you can use for your own survey. Um, and so feel free to go through any of those. Again, there's one for the full pager, and there's one for the button as well, so you can see what that looks like. On just a regular HTML page, you would have a button, and it would bring up the survey.
Perfect. And then another question is, how can we embed the survey to our website?
Exactly like I just showed you, you'll do that with the button. Um, if that's what you're talking about. So if you mean, we want to clarify this because there's two ways, right? You can either you could just put a link to your survey on your site, but if it's like a high traffic page and you want it just to be integrated as part of the experience, that's when you would use the button option. And let me just kind of jump back over here, and let me see. Jump back in here real quick. We're going to go over to publish, and I'll show you what happens when you change this to a button. What happens is you get this embed code. So let's say you're just going to use the button option, right? You can adjust your button. Take survey. You can change the color of the text and the background color here, and then you take your embed code down here, copy it, and then paste it wherever it needs to be pasted on your web page. That's if you're going to do the button. If you're just going to do the full pager, you literally would just grab the link and put that link, excuse me, on your website. And that's
Excellent. And you definitely got to thank you for that and for these questions here. Just a couple more with this. I think there's a couple quick questions here. Can we see how it looks on desktop, mobile, tablet first before publishing live?
So, I mean, yes and no. I mean, they don't have like a little. We don't have like the option to see, how does it look? Excuse me. Like, how does it look on mobile? How does it look on desktop? Any of those features inside the app itself. But certainly, you could, hit the publish and look at the link inside your own app. I mean, that's the only way I could think of to do it right now, is just to look at it on your different devices. It's very it's what is it called when it like, the word is escaping me.
Responsive?
Yeah, it's responsive. So what it does is everything stacks in the order that it's built, right? So headline, image, video, and then just goes down. It just creates like an inline page. It is built for mobile, basically.
Cool. Excellent. And looks like there are some more questions coming along, but I'm going to let you just go, and we can address any outstanding questions at the end.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, because what I want to do is the next phase here is we're going to take a look real quick at the discovery reports, because the thing is you're going to be taking these, having people take these surveys, but you need some tools to help you make decisions based on what the responses are inside the survey, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you just some of the cool reporting that's available inside of Bucket. So we'll just take one of these existing surveys that we've got, and what you'll do to get to the reporting for any one survey is you'll click on the analytics link on that specific survey, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what is on the report. So what you'll first see is how many people have seen and taken the survey. So as you can see on this survey, 91 people saw it, 36 people took it. That was a participation rate of about 40%. Once they started taking it, the completion rate was about 92%. So as you can see, there were 36 participants, 33 completed the whole thing. The opt-in rate was about 70%. So again, you get these stats right at your fingertips. As soon as you see it, you can kind of get an idea, it looks like I might need to put some kind of welcome page on this one if such a low amount of people are actually participating that see it. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've got those types of decision-making data points right in front of you. Then you have the conversion statistics for each question, so you can see maybe if something needs to be changed. And then you can get your opt-in rate for your contact information page and your thank you stats. Now, here's another option here is the word cloud. This is where you're going to be making a lot of your decisions from, right? This tells you kind of what the buzzwords are from your open-ended questions. You've got a couple of different options here. You can grow and shrink the word cloud as large as you want. And the lower you get it, what happens is you start seeing more of the question or the words that were used the most out of the number of words that is chosen. You have the option of choosing to show only the hypers, or at the beginning it shows just the hypers. Then you have the option of showing the hypers and the non-hypers. And then you have the option of choosing which words you want to remove. So if there's like something in here, like the word want, like a lot of people wrote, I want this, I want that. You can remove the word want so that that's not the biggest word in there, so that you can kind of start diving into some of the some of the more effective words. Like in this case, I want to get out of bucket is probably one of the words that's in there a lot. But then you see audience, and you see build. Maybe you can get rid of how. Again, you can start seeing here some of the more useful words start popping up, and that's how you can start using your word cloud to start making some sense out of the responses that you're getting, and start using some of those words in maybe your segmentation funnels and other marketing. You also have the ability to see every response that comes in, and again, like I mentioned before, if you mark the words, whatever option you mark as your SMIQ, that gets the full analysis on it, so that you start getting these hyperscores. And again, the higher the hyperscore, the more valuable that response is for your use. And that's it. That's how the reporting works for your survey. So again, you've got enough at your fingertips here to make the survey better if it's not performing as well as you'd like it to. And then you can start looking at how to use the language that your responders are giving you with both the word cloud tool and analyzing the responses themselves. So that is your discovery survey tool inside of bucket.io. The next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to jump into building a segmentation funnel. I've already got one built, and I'm just going to walk you through it the same way we did with the discovery survey. But just so you understand what a segmentation funnel is, this is where you're going to start getting your conversions from. This is your marketing funnel, and what a segmentation funnel does is it segments each of your users based on the answers that they give you. You capture their lead information, and then you send them to customized outcomes based on the answers that they gave you in the beginning part of the funnel. So imagine you're a doctor. You're not just giving everyone a one-size-fits-all prescription. They walk in, oh, here, have this medicine. You're asking them what their problems are. You're taking their information, and then you're giving them the exact prescription for their exact pain or problem, right? That's how segmentation funnels work. And I'm going to walk you through how to build one of those inside of bucket.io. So let's jump back out of here. Again, if we're going to jump to the dashboard, because if you're building your first one ever, the easiest way to do it is from the dashboard, just create a new segmentation funnel. And like the discovery surveys, you have multiple types of segmentation funnels that you can build, right? You can build a full pager, which is what we're going to do here, but you can also do it as a button. So if you have, again, a high traffic page, you don't want to go build out a whole different page to send people to, you can add it, and it'll just be a pop-up on that page. You can have an entry pop-up. You can have a splash pop-up and an exit pop. So if someone's leaving, you can ask them real quick, hey, take this, answer a couple of questions, and we'll be able to help you. I'm going to close this out, and to get to your existing segmentation funnels, you just click the segment menu item at the top, and then we'll jump straight into here. I'm going to edit one that I've already created. Again, just so I'm not sitting here building it while you're watching. All right, so just like with the discovery survey, you have the option of building a landing page. Now, the difference between the discovery surveys and the segmentation funnels is almost everyone's going to use a welcome page if you're using the full pager option, because this is where you're going to tell people what's happening. And so you do it just the same way. You drag the welcome page over, and you jump into the editing portion of the building the page out. As you can see here, a lot more robust, right? I mean, you can add in your headline, you can add in your subhead, and again, you can also add an image or video. Here's the thing, and I didn't bring this up earlier, but when it comes to embedding videos, you can add anywhere that offers embed code for their videos. You can use YouTube. As you can see here, we're using Facebook. You can use Vimeo, Wistia. Anyone that offers embed code to be added, you can put it on this page, and it gives it this look here. Again, you can edit body text, and then also your button text here. You have complete control over it. And so what happens when they click this button on this page, it fires up the questionnaire, right? This is where the segmentation begins. And I'm going to save this page and bring you back over to the types. You have the same types of questions. They operate a little bit differently in the segmentation funnel. I'm going to take a look at a couple of the options here. So let's say this is the radio button. This is, again, radio button, remember, like I said before, is where you can only choose one of the options. Now, you see the question name. It's not the name of the question. This is what they see when they click the question. So in this case, it's, yes, Ryan, send me my copy of Ask. And then in this question description here, it says, step one, what's the number one roadblock holding you back in your business? I know most people on this call have probably even seen this funnel before because this is the famous Ryan Levesque Ask book funnel. And so these are the options that he gives, hitting the goals and deadlines, knowing what's really working today, and so on. So there's 4 options here. Now, what we have the ability to do, and I'm going to come back to this shortly, is you have the ability to map outcomes. So what we're going to be doing here effectively is creating outcomes shortly. I'm going to explain what that is, but this is where you come and map, each answer, each response to a specific outcome. You can make this a required question, and again, like before, you can add another option if one of these don't fit. In the segmentation phase, in the segmentation funnel, you typically won't use an other option unless it's not really unless you're just kind of collecting demographic data, which we'll come to that in a little bit, and I'll show you different ways of using that. So I'm going to save this here. And we're going to go just to the next phase real quick of the lead capture screen. So remember on the discovery survey, you had the ability to customize the page. It's the same thing here. What you're going to be doing is just putting your copy to get the user to go ahead and give you their contact information and opt in. And just like before, this information will be passed on to your email service provider using Zapier in the configuration screen, like I showed you. We'll walk back through that again real quick at the end of this as we walk through it. But it's the same thing. They fill in this information, that gets passed on to your email service provider, whether it's Aweber, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, or whatever you're using through Zapier. And just save this page here. And now let's get into this, the outcomes. So after you've done your lead capture page, you'll come down and create your outcomes. So I've built one already. I'm going to bring this up real fast. This outcome is, as you can see, it's matched to that first responsive here, which was hitting my goals and deadlines. So I've created a page, an outcome name called hitting my goals and deadlines. So we know to match this one up with this response, right? And then I've chosen an outcome page. There's also another option here called external redirect. And this is what you'll use if you already have sales pages for each of your options. So if you already do some version of segmentation marketing in your own business, and you already have sales pages for each of those segments, you can use that external page here. Otherwise, you can build it inside the bucket.io app. And that's what we're going to do here. So I've got outcome page, and then you've got this. If it was the first time, we would put create outcome, but since it's already built in, it's just going to say edit the outcome page. And this is where you'll add the copy. And just like the thank you and welcome pages before, you have the exact same control over the page. And just like your thank you page before, and I think someone had asked about this, you can also link that person out to anywhere you want. So in this case, we're actually making a pitch for a product on the outcome page, and so we're linking them out to a shopping cart here or an order form. And again, you can do that exact same thing on your own funnels. So again, this is a marketing funnel designed to get people to enter their credit card number and order the physical book of Ask, where they opted in to get the free version of it, a digital copy sent to their email. So you'll save this page here. And we'll walk back through. I'm going to show how this looks, but I want to take a look at something real quick. So as you can see, we've got one option page, right? And it's hitting goals and deadlines. Well, we've got 4 different options here. And what if we wanted to, I'm going to copy this and I'll show you why I copied that here in a second. What if we want a page for each one of these different options? Well, what you do here is you could come in and hit edit, or you hit this button here, the little 3 dots, and then you hit clone. And now you've got a copy of hitting my goals and deadlines. So then what we'll do is, you see I copied the option. So now we've got an outcome name called knowing what's really working today. And I'm going to edit the outcome page. And you see where it says here, while you're waiting, check out this quick 3-minute video that reveals one tricky way to always hit your goals and deadlines. Well, what if we just did one tricky way of knowing what's really working today, right? Again, this is real simple. Changing, you might want a little more advanced changes in your copy, but as you can see, now you're starting to customize that sales messaging. So now, instead of just telling everyone, hey, whatever the number one, response would be for one outcome page, now you're customizing it to fit their exact problem. Save that. And we have the ability to do it with each of these options here, right? So we've got getting detailed feedback on my business. This one probably won't fit nearly as well, but I'll just show you. It's the same process. You clone it, edit, make the outcome name something that you'll know, and I'll show you why you want it to be something that you can easily recognize here shortly. Edit the outcome page. While you're waiting, check out this quick 3-minute video that reveals one tricky way. Again, you'll see it doesn't. It's not, it's not perfect, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. Like what you're looking at here is customizing your sales message so that you're getting those higher conversions. Again, that's the beauty of the segmentation funnel, and this is what it would look like, right, on your own. It's, again, yours might be a completely different format and the type of copy that you'll be using, but this is how you make those differences. You can make your outcome completely customized to the problem that the person tells you that they have up here in the segmentation question. So let's go back into how do we match those outcome pages to each response. And this is where you do that. In the question itself, so after you created your outcome pages, you've got your options, you come back to the question and you go to map outcomes. And then it's real simple. I mean, you've got, if the answer is hitting my goals and deadlines, you drag this over to the hitting my goal and deadline option. Knowing what's really working today goes to the knowing what's really working today outcome page. Getting detailed feedback goes to the getting detailed feedback. If you had a feeling overwhelmed, you would do that. Otherwise, you could just drag it up to one of the other ones, and you can see which questions are mapped to which outcome page. You can remove all outcomes if you mess something up or if you just want to do some changes, and then you always, just like every other page, you hit Save Changes. And that's it. Now you have built your segmentation funnel. And we'll do a quick preview just so you can see what that looks like. So you've got your landing page here. Yes, I want my free copy of Ask. Boom, it takes you to the question. Hitting my goals and deadlines, knowing what's really working today, etc. So let's do knowing what's really working today. Then we would fill out this information here, hit continue, and we're taken to the knowing what's really working today outcome page. And then you're taken to your checkout or order form. And that's how setting up and launching your segmentation funnel works. I'll walk you back through real quick just some of the other options that we have in the design and configure screens. Again, it's the exact same as it was for the discovery survey, so we don't want to spend a lot of time here. But again, you can add your header, logo, header text if you want to put a phone number or persuasive messaging. You can have the navigations. It's all exactly the same. You can do your background images or colors, and configuring is the exact same thing as well. This is where you would integrate with your email marketing service provider, and this is where you would add your Facebook pixel code. And just to kind of show you just something real quick here, just so, because I do have it set up. So you can, for each of these questions, you can add a, your pixel retargeting. Again, this isn't the call for going deep into what and how this works, but you can build your audiences based on the questions that they answer. So let's say people that don't even fill out your form, you can pixel them based on the answer that they chose. So let's say they don't even, if they don't opt in, you can still say, well, that person has this problem, so that you can remarket them with information and marketing on hitting my goals and deadlines or knowing what's really working today. So it's a really powerful feature that smart marketers are adding into their segmentation funnels to make them even more powerful. and higher converting. Publishing is the exact same thing. You choose your segmentation funnel type here, choose the domain that you want it to be on, and then do your full publish, and it'll be ready to launch and start sending visitors to. And that's it. That's how you build a segmentation funnel inside of bucket.io. Now, once you have it built, the reporting options are similar to excuse me, the discovery surveys. So what we'll do is we'll back out here. You get to it the same way. You go to your analytics, and then let me get to one that is up and running. So you go up into your analytics, and you can see the number of participants, number of completions, and the opt-in rate. So if you don't have an opt-in rate, or if you don't have an opt-in screen, it's obviously going to be at 0. If you do have an opt-in screen, this is where that information will show. And then again, you just have you have data to work with. How many people saw versus answered the questions. And if the number's too low for your liking, then you can go in and change. You can see which options were chosen the most. And then you can get a look at the actual response data. Again, just to help you make better decisions. And always be, working on your conversions. So as this number is 56.3, this might be, if the next question was even lower, well, we would say, okay, one of these needs to be addressed, and you just go in and edit copy, maybe remove the question altogether, and so on. All that's available to you in the reporting section of your segmentation funnels. So putting it all together, as you can see, one of the big things here is that you've got best of both worlds in one application. In your Bucket app, you've got your discovery tool to where you go out and find the information to use, and then you've got your segmentation funnel where you take what you learned from your discovery and use that in your marketing inside the segmentation funnels. So instead of just having to go one place to get surveys and then another place to try and use that information in your marketing, you've got it to where it's all integrated in one powerful application. Like I said, discovery surveys, they give you that market insight and the language to use. Remember, with the word cloud, you can pull those buzzwords and help them in both your your questions that you're asking, the offer that you're making, and the outcome pages. All of that can come from what you learn inside your discovery survey. The segmentation funnels let you take that and customize that experience for the higher conversions. And that's how Bucket, that's pretty much how using bucket.io works. You can either do discovery surveys or segmentation funnels or both. So let us jump back into any questions that we have, maybe from the segmentation funnel section. Mr. Nickel?
You got it. So this one has come up a couple times, and the question is basically, do we have to use Zapier, or do we have to use it to integrate with our ESP, or why can't we just integrate directly with MailChimp or with OnReport, for example?
Are you asking why do we have to use Zapier?
Yeah, essentially. Yep.
Yeah. So the way that it's real techy, right? It's the way that they store the information inside of Bucket so that it's getting passed through the entire funnel or the entire quiz. It's not as simple as just adding an opt-in form, right? Because you're wanting to pass the information that's coming, from other parts of the funnel or the survey. In order to pass all that, it has to be stored in a way. And right now, currently, Zapier is the easiest and best way of doing it. I foresee in the future there will be some way of passing it directly, But as of right now, Zapier is the only way that we have set up to be able to do it.
Cool. Um, and this is a really good question. Uh, if I have a list of 10,000 leads in Excel with emails, can I load it up into Bucket and create surveys to help me segment that list?
Okay. You have
So
the
basically
email.
just importing, right, those 10,000 leads in Excel. Is there a way to import that into Bucket?
No. Okay, so you wouldn't be able to import the leads into Bucket. I mean, what you would do is you would email each of those people of your leads and ask them to take the survey. I mean, there's not an option of uploading leads and then emailing directly from Bucket. If that's the question, maybe I'm missing it. But
I believe so, but Eduardo, this let us know if that didn't, if I misunderstood the question. You can post again, definitely. Um, Another one here is, let's see here. Please show branching logic, where the answer to a question leads to the asking of a different question. So I guess it would be skip logic, how we go about doing that.
Okay, sure. Um, Let me jump back over to Bucket. And this is a more advanced feature. We actually have training on that goes deeper into branching and skip logic. But just to show you, let me pull one up here. Let's see what we've got. All right. So let's say um, we have the question here, right? What we do, you need a second question. Let me close this real quick. All right. Let's just say, are you? Let's just do a quick one real quick. Or oh, there we go. Let's take this off because I don't. Just gonna just kind of build this out for you on the fly real quick. We'll do man and woman. All right. Now we're going to save this. All right. And then we're going to say, we're going to create a variation of this. And you know what? Let's do this. I'm trying to make this up on the fly. Can you, whoever asked this question, do you have a? Are you going to be using? If you want to use skip logic and branching logic in your own funnel, why don't we do this? Why? Because this is kind of like if I start making stuff up, it's going to stop making sense. If you here, I'm just going to delete this real quick. If you want to have me look at yours and help you with the branching logic, we actually have. I'm going to jump back over here. We have a one-on-one call we can do. Because what's going to happen here, I'm going to start making questions up and it's going to stop making sense. So why don't we do this? If you want to use a branching logic in your segmentation funnel, why don't you, Jeremy, do you have the link for the one-on-one calls?
I sure do. I'm going to post that right now. We have some users that need to hop off anyway. So, and just to let you all know, it will be there's just a quick survey just so we can understand what it actually is that you're going through, what you need help with before we get on the call with you. But let's see. All right, I just posted that to everyone. So you just go through a quick survey, and then it'll take you to the sign up page where it'll be like Jeremy said, it'll be a little bit limited. So go ahead and hop on.
Yeah, so let me just say this too. Why I would say, and especially for this, and the reason I stopped going down this rabbit hole, we're at the we're about at the hour, and I know a lot of you just wanted to get some basic clarification. We just have the potential of kind of going down a rabbit hole that could take a few minutes, and we have a full training on this subject. And if you have a question on it specifically about your segmentation funnel, be happy to get on the phone and walk you through it so that it makes more sense to you anyways. Okay? Just randomly adding it to an existing funnel that wasn't built for having a branching logic, as you can see, it starts getting a little confusing. So definitely, if you want to walk through that, more than happy to spend a few minutes with you and adding it to your own segmentation funnel, and not confuse the heck out of everybody else. So if you have that, you said you already put that link up there, Jeremy?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I
cool.
sure did. Yep.
Yeah, so there's a few slots in there for sure, and just whatever timing you put in, what we'll try to do is email you first to let you know, just confirm, and then we'll probably do like a Zoom meeting on the phone with you while you're on the call, just to kind of walk you through and let you take the steering wheel, and we just walk you through it. And it doesn't just have to be about branching logic. If you want me to look at, or if you want a bucket specialist to look at, an existing survey or segmentation funnel and just kind of point out what may be working, what maybe not be a best practice, that's fine too. But anything that has to do with using Bucket, we're happy to help you on those one-on-one calls. And with that, if anything else, if you have any questions or if you need help with anything, you can always jump into our knowledge base. You've got the in-app messaging. You can email support at bucket.io if something doesn't appear to be working correctly, or if you just have a question that you can't figure out and can't find in the knowledge base. Otherwise, again, just set a time on our calendar for a one-on-one call, and we're happy to jump on that with you. Anything super pressing in the questions there, Mr. Nicol?
No, I think we're good now. It looks like we're gonna have some one-on-one scheduled, and we'll be able to do some deep dives there.
Cool. Well, we're certainly happy to do that, and if you guys could just let us know. I mean, especially if you were having trouble getting started with Bucket, does this type of call help you? Does anybody seem like they're? I mean, is this the type of call that they would like to see, or was this helpful to them?
Yep, looks like we're getting some most definitely's here. So yeah,
Cool.
This is good. And we'll be hosting these. We'll have a big getting started with Bucket once a week, right?
I think we're going to do a getting started with Bucket once a week, and then having an advanced, like a specific subject that we're going to work on. Like I mentioned before, if you haven't already signed up for it and you want more specific training on integrating with your email service provider or your email marketing company, we'll be doing a full-on training on that this afternoon. And that's at, 4 p.m. Central Time, right?
That's at 4 p.m. Yep.
Great. All right, guys. Well, I thank you so much for getting on here and for your questions and for jumping on our calendar. And we definitely look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for using Bucket, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, everyone.